Hi, my name's Tim Ferris, and I'm here with Dee Dee Chen, our Director of Professional Staff Benefits and Compensation, to let you know about a change in retirement benefits that will be coming up soon. So I think we're going to handle this by Dee Dee's going to ask me some questions, and I'm going to try to answer them, and then she's going to finish each one of my attempts at answering with the actual answer.
You got it. Although I'm sure I won't have to change anything, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see how it goes.
So, what's going on?
What's going on? So, unfortunately, we are faced with a situation where we have to change the structure of the retirement benefits for all physicians at Mass General who will be under 50 on January 1st, 2021. And the reason we have to do this is because of changes in federal rules and regulations around the tax benefits of retirement savings plans. And with a little background on this, in 2016, all of Partners went to a uniform retirement plan, which is a two-part plan that is a combination of a pension plan, a defined benefit plan, and a defined contribution plan, which is sometimes known as a 403B plan in our particular context in a nonprofit. So what's happened, and what at that time, when that happened, MGPO physicians were stayed with their legacy retirement plan, which was the academic annuity plan. At the time, the tax consultant said, ooh, you know what? That might be a problem sometime down the road with something called the federal or ERISA non-discrimination rules, which state that no group of people under an employer, no group of people can benefit disproportionately from the tax advantage portion of a retirement benefit. And it turns out the MGPO academic annuity plan is slightly more generous than the MGB-wide plan. At the time, that wasn't a problem, but since then, some of the rules around calculating interest accumulations and so forth have changed, and now the MGPO plan is now out of compliance. And in fact, we have had to pay penalties for the past 2 years. And it looks as though we'll have to pay penalties for the next 10 years or more. And so in order to avoid those penalties, we've had to try to come up with a solution. And the solution is to move many, not all, but many of our physicians from the current academic annuity plan, which is a defined contribution plan, to the redesigned MGB-wide plan. And so that's the problem that we're trying to fix our non-compliance with some federal rules. And our solution is to put in place these, to move some of our physicians from the legacy plan to the same plan that all the other physicians and all employees are in throughout the MGB system.
I think of it as a seesaw where the benefits need to be balanced. The retirement benefits need to be balanced for everyone. And originally, we had intended that the MGPO academic annuity plan would be in balance with those that were in the legacy MGH plan. So those that were at MGH, working side by our physicians and researchers prior to January 1, 2016. What we didn't anticipate were some law changes that required a slight reduction to the MGH weekly plan, the MGH legacy cash balance plan, which caused an imbalance. And there's two ways to fix the imbalance. You can push down on either side to get it back to being in balance. And therefore, every year, we were having to put in extra dollars to keep the plan in balance. And just to cover again, who is being affected by this change in benefit?
So the people being affected is everyone who is under 50 on January 1, 2021. So this coming January 1st. If you are under 50 years old.
And in the academic annuity plan.
And in the academic annuity plan. That means you had to have been hired before 2016, because everyone who was hired after 2016 is already in the MGB-wide retirement plan. And so that's approximately 1,336 MGPO physicians and researchers are in there as well.
And it might be natural that some people are wondering, why me? You know, why these people in particular?
Well, it's these people in particular because this imbalance that Dee Dee talked about is something that accumulates over time. And so those people who are over 50 or over, they are going to retire soon enough that there won't be an imbalance. But the imbalance, because the imbalance accumulates over time because of the changes in the interest rate laws, is actually affects primarily the physicians who will be under 50 at that time, on January 1, 2021.
And just to remind everyone that our goal was to minimize the number of people affected by this change.
That's right. That's right. That was our goal. And in addition, one of our goals, Dee Dee, right, was to minimize the impact, to make it fair, to have this change. And so let me say a couple words about fairness. So one is that one would hope, and we will make good on the promise, that the institution's contributions to retirement benefits is not changing at all. So we are making the same contributions to your retirement benefits. It's just that the buckets they go into will be different buckets. So instead of it all going into a defined contribution plan, now some will go into a defined benefit plan, which actually some people like. If you're more anxious about the future, a defined benefit is a positive thing. Then some will go into a defined contribution plan, and anything that's left over, any payment that's owed you that you've been previously due that can't fit into those two buckets because of limits on the amount that can go in those, will now come to you in a taxed benefit called a FIP. And many physicians will know because they've already been receiving a FIP, but for some physicians, receiving a FIP will be a new experience. And so now your retirement benefit, which is the same dollars, will be paid out in three buckets: the defined pension, the defined contribution, and the FIP. Let me say a word.
Can I add one thing to that?
Please.
There are some people who will actually get a larger benefit in this new plan.
That's right. And tell us who those people are.
They're the people who are newer to the institution, and some of our colleagues whose income aren't as high as others. So it's some of our lower paid folks that will be better off in the new plan. And if you're better off in the new plan, we're not going to look to see if you are better off and take away anything. If you're better off in the new plan, you just get the new plan.
You just get the new plan and your benefit. That's right. So you're either better off, 25% of people making this change are better off. The other 75% are the same in terms of the dollars. But there is one catch, and I do want to explain this catch, which is the FIP component of this is taxed. So before all that money was going into an untaxed, and it grew untaxed. Now, when you take
pre-tax,
I should say pre-tax. That's right, because it is taxed when you take it out, but it is contributed pre-tax and grows pre-tax. The FIP will now come to you, that third component, if you're getting FIP through this, then that FIP component will be taxed. It will come to you in your paycheck, and it will say FIP. So it will be identified. You'll be able to see how much that is. But that will come to you taxed. And that will now be, you'll be getting a FIP payment, say for the next 10 years or however long you stay here. And you'll be paying tax on that. So what we decided to do is, in order to try to maximize the fairness of this, because that new tax is, some of that is now taxed, some of that retirement benefit is now taxed. What we did is we calculated the difference between what you would have paid in taxes when you took it out, and if it grew pre-tax, and what you will be paying in taxes by taking the FIP every year. That amount, that difference, on average across the MGPO was $10,000. So with this change in January, we will be sending all the physicians who are getting this change a check for $10,000. How's that?
That's great.
What's the next question, Dee Dee?
I think we're down to the last one, which is advice and suggestions on what to do next. First is to watch your mail.
Watch it. That's right. Watch your mail, because a letter is coming, and that letter will have details of how this applies specifically to you, because different physicians, there are details in here that obviously we can't cover because they are specific to individual circumstances. That letter will have the details. And then, Dee Dee, why don't you tell them what additional things we're doing to help them understand what's in that letter?
Many of you have used or know of the MGPO financial planning benefit, which is normally available once every 5 years. But because of this change, we're doing a one-time opportunity where within the next 2 years, you can use this benefit to go seek financial planning either from one of our vetted planners, or if you have your own planner, and get the benefit, which is a reimbursement of up to $1,500.
Perfect. And so that's one thing we're doing. What's the other thing we're doing? You and your team are available.
We're always available. That's not anything new.
Okay.
I encourage you to reach out to your benefits consultant. You're always welcome to reach out to me as well, although they tend to know the ins and outs much better than I do, to discuss what this change means to you once you get the letter in the mail.
Right. Okay. So have we gone through all the questions?
We have.
Wow. Okay, that was good. Dee Dee, thank you so much. And thanks to all of our colleagues in the MGB Benefits Office who did an enormous amount of work doing many, many models to figure out the most expeditious way of doing this. And thank you for your patience. We definitely would not have done this if we didn't have to. And recognize that it is stressful anytime there is a change in any kind of compensation or benefits, that the stress of understanding, like, is this fair? Am I being treated well? I believe we are doing this in a way that is treating our physicians well, and optimizing the resources we had available to us to provide the best benefit possible to our physicians. So thanks again, Dee Dee, and thank you all for watching this video.
Thank you.
Bye.